Hi everyone, this is Sam from Booredatwork.com, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S4 from Sprint. Well, this device just came in right now. I just got a knock on the door, and this was actually delivered to me by the UPS guy right outside my door about a few minutes ago. So we're going to basically just open this up. I'm not going to give any specs on this. This is just a simple unboxing. We have the trusty combat knife, and we're going to open this up right now. We're going to slice that open. Take care of this. And that's about it. Now I'm going to walk you through basically just step-by-step packaging and whatnot. I'll zoom in on here a little bit so you can actually see exactly what I'm doing. Now, straight off the bat, you can tell that this actually is the sleeve, or should I say the protective sleeve or the protective case or whatnot on the Galaxy S4, which is similar to the Galaxy S3. The overall packaging itself is very similar to the Galaxy S3. Now, this sleeve, as you can tell, has somewhat of a wooden decal to it, so you're going to see like a wood grain on there. You can put that next to the table and probably, camouflage it. Yeah, sure. Now, we'll throw that aside. I'm going to pop this open. You can tell the Galaxy S4 logo is quite pervasive on, on both of these coverings. So the sleeve itself and the box itself has a huge Samsung Galaxy S4 logo on it. As you can see, one thing that's really impressive about this is I'm looking at the box right now and I really don't see any Sprint logo on the box. So this is a very Samsung-centric boxing. So I'm going to basically pop this out. Now what do you get? Right off the bat, you have the device itself. Now that's identical to exactly what you had in the Galaxy S3. I'm going to turn this right side around, and once again, Samsung Galaxy S4. The Galaxy S4 branding is basically, just all over this phone right there. Samsung Galaxy S4, for those of you who couldn't see clearer. And I'll remove that. I'll pop that right out. And just like the Galaxy S4, you pop the top out, and you have the documentation and other components on the bottom. First Sprint branded item I'm seeing here, which is basically the standard Sprint's, get started, a Samsung accessories offering or warranty information, and the recycling, the recycling plastic thingy for mailing your old phone / recycling the phone back. All right, let's keep going on. Now, similar to the S3, we have a headphone, or should I say a head speaker and headphone, I guess, all in one. And I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I don't remember my Galaxy S3 actually having, cables that were flat. This is actually flat cables. So that's an improvement over what we had before. However, it's yet to see if the durability of this device is, or should I say, of this headset is actually better than the prior headset, because I break headsets pretty easily, and I believe I broke the headsets on my Galaxy S3 within about a couple of weeks of having it. Now, the button layout, as you can see, is a little different. So there's been a little design changes here. Microphone still on the back of the button enclosure, so put that away. What else do you get? You get a white power connections this time, so your cable and connector are both white. Although I have the black version of the phone, or the smoke black version, or whatever you want to call it, the smoke color of the phone, you still get the white connections on here. I remember my Galaxy S3 coming with a black USB cable and power connection. You also get a battery, which is not installed in the device to begin with. So that's your battery. I believe this is a 2300 milliamp battery, 3.8 volts. Let's see what this actually says on here. So I'm going to pop this out. Give me a second. Ooh, don't make me whip out the combat knife. All right, we're whipping out the combat knife. There we go. Opened. Pretty thin battery, similar in design to what you saw with the Galaxy S3, but I'm sure this is a little wider than what I have in my Galaxy S3 right now. Now, looking at this says it's about 3.8 volts, and that's about it. I don't have any milliamps. Oh yes, 2600 milliamps, so 26 milliamp hours on here. So this is actually a bigger battery than what you find on your Galaxy S3. Now, what's the last thing here? Open this up and you find the rubber ear, or should I say earphone cushions on here. So these are all rubber. I don't see any styrofoams. So you get, I guess, small and large in there, while medium comes standard connected to your headset. Right off the bat, you have a screen size of about 5 inches. This is a 5-inch screen, which is bigger than what you found on the Galaxy S3. Additionally, this is actually a Super AMOLED screen with higher pixel density, so you're going to be looking at more vibrant pictures than what you currently have offered from Samsung in the Note 2 or the Galaxy S3. Now, additionally, let's take a look at the left side of the phone where you have your volume rocker. You will notice that this device now has a band of metal around the device itself. There are other devices that have that band of metal around it. You can make your guesses. You can make whichever guess or whichever comparison you want. Now, on the top of the phone, you have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and you have, I believe, what is an IR blaster. That's what this little black dot is. I thought that was the the ejector button for your SIM card, but if you look at there, you can see a black dot right around here, which is basically your IR blaster. That's going to send the signals to your TV. Yes, that is another feature that we'll get to about this device itself. Now, let's go ahead and just take a look at the rest of the phone. So on the right side of the phone, you have the power button / sleep button right here. Now, on the lower end of the phone, the bottom of the phone, you have the button we've come to expect from the Galaxy S3. This is just a single one button to rule them all. And you have basically 2 soft buttons on the side. I'll light that up for you so you can actually see it. You have basically a menu button and a back button, as well as the home button. Now, on the bottom of this, you actually have your your micro USB connection, as well as a, let's see, what else do we have here? You have your micro USB, and you have your speaker and your mic. So you have a microphone down here. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of a comparison here in a second, but let's just finish the specs on this phone first. Now, a lot of people have compared this to the Galaxy S3 in basically look and feel. Now, feel-wise, I'll base that on the software. The software is very similar to the Galaxy S3. However, it does pack a little bit more of a punch in the Galaxy S3. It ups the dual-core processor from the Galaxy S3 to now a 1.9 gigahertz quad-core processor. So this is more powerful than your Galaxy S3, significantly more powerful. This has a 2 gigs of RAM on here, which it's basically on par with the Galaxy S3 at that point. Going out there to say that everyone else has it wrong with the design mentality for the Galaxy S4, but I would say this: too many people give credit to the Galaxy S3 as being basically I would say the predecessor to the Galaxy S4. However, you have to take into consideration that Samsung is a company that we've seen over time learn from its wins over the past. Now, the Galaxy S2 was popular when it came out. The Galaxy S3 was even more so. Nothing stops Samsung from going back and taking the positive things it learned from the Galaxy S2 over to the Galaxy S4. And I think the design mentality and also just this really nice look and feel of the print on the back of the Galaxy of the Galaxy S4 is very reminiscent of the Galaxy S2, and I believe I actually prefer that over the Galaxy S3. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more features of this device. Now, this device actually touts, using 2 windows at once. So basically, you can have a window side by side. It also touts the new, as I mentioned, IR blaster, which you can use to control your home entertainment systems. Now, I will point out that this is not the first smartphone that we've seen with this feature. However, Samsung including this feature basically means that you're no longer limited to using the all share feature to share content, just to share content between your Samsung devices which you own. It's now freed up a little more that you can now connect, or should I say control, the devices as well as control other non-Samsung devices using your Galaxy S4, making the Galaxy S4 more of a competitor to your all-in-one remote controls right now. So Samsung is also angling to make this your one device that you always keep on you, that you use at whatever time. I'm not saying throw away your universal remotes, but I'm saying, hey, if you lose your universal remote or can't find it in the clutter that is normally my living room, then chances are you whip out your phone and you can actually control things around the apartments or the home or however way you use this. Now, that being said, this is a amazingly light device. For what you get in a bigger screen area, you really don't get much of a increase in in size overall. You basically end up with something very similar to what you have on the Galaxy S3. Let's compare that right away. You have basically almost the same shape, but amazingly, I'll put this on the table and see if you can see it from here. Amazingly, what you do get is something actually thinner than the Galaxy S3. It is slightly thinner than the Galaxy S3. And why is that? Because the Galaxy S3 itself does have a little bit of a curve to the back of it, whereas this actually eliminates the curvature of the rear curvature of the Galaxy S4 and makes it more similar to what you find on the Galaxy S2. The Galaxy S2 was pretty much flat on the back, and then you got a bump on the bottom a little bit, not really too much of a bump, but actually let's look at that a little closer. It is very, very slight. Now, you get the same thing on the Galaxy S4, just a very straight, flat back to the phone. So this really makes it thinner than the Galaxy S3, and design-wise, I believe it's a more ergonomic design than you find with the Galaxy S3. Now, while this is thinner, you do have an increased screen size. You're now bumping this up to a 5-inch display, a 5-inch Super AMOLED display. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the functionality, the operating system on here. The operating system on here is Android 4.2.2, I believe, which is actually, your current Android system, but you can tell with the specs you have on this phone, it's most likely going to be, it's already future-proof to any other updates to the operating system that Google could come out with. Yes, this runs on Android with TouchWiz, as you can see. And that's another thing about this phone. TouchWiz hasn't quite changed from from the prior generation to the current generation. Well, I had this complaint about HTC not too long ago, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you heard it because we heard the comments, where I said that basically the HTC UI hadn't quite changed over the last few years. Now, Samsung had a change between Galaxy S2 and Galaxy S3. However, it's keeping primarily the same look and feel between the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy S2, which makes me a little concerned that now it's trying to unify its UI, but is that going to stagnate the look and feel of TouchWiz? Now, if that's the case, then I think Samsung might be heading down the wrong path. But if Samsung is willing to innovate and actually change some of the look and feel, or improve or enhance the look and feel of TouchWiz, that is definitely going to work to their advantage. But right now on the Galaxy S4, you would feel very at home if you've used the Galaxy S3 migrating over to the Galaxy S4. Now, keep an ear open, and we'll get back to you with the blog and actually our thoughts and our feelings on the phone. This has been Sam for Booredatwork.com, and enjoy your entertainment.